The lead instructor at River City Base is staring at her monitor in absolute horror. She repeatedly warned the rookies never to team up, because a larger group attracts the visage beasts, monsters so dangerous they are an automatic death sentence. She prepares to log her own sister as a confirmed casualty. The veteran commander knows exactly how this ends, but then the impossible happens. The system data updates to reveal a double boss kill from an unknown player named Jiang Kai. The commander demands to know who this kid is, because a rookie pulling this off breaks every rule they know. 50 years ago, mutated beast gods pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. Modern weapons couldn't scratch them. Earth was completely overrun. The only way to fight back was stepping through digital portals to a hyper-realistic planet where humans awaken RPG-style professions. If you level up on Phantom Star, you bring those god-tier powers back to the real world. The rich drop millions to buy overpowered classes. The poor get the scraps. Kai is just a kid desperate for surgery money to save his dying brother. He gambles his life in the beginner's trial and immediately encounters a nightmare. He refuses to wait around and die. He makes a desperate sprint. He ducks under a massive scythe attack and leaps straight off a cliff into the abyss below. He expects to hit the ground and die. Instead, he triggers a 1 in a million hidden achievement. He successfully completes a secret profession change. He is now the gambler. He meets the system's AI guide. She explains exactly how broken his new class is. His first talent is a permanent double multiplier. Everything he earns is automatically doubled. His starting attributes instantly hit 36 points. While normal players grind for hours, Kai levels twice as fast. But his second talent is the real cheat code, a 200 times critical damage modifier. His level 1 agility instantly rivals veteran explorers. He's supposed to sneak quietly to the holy city, but then he spots a pack of venomous snakes surrounding another player. The martial artist is panicking. Kai steps in. He rushes the front line. He doesn't block the strikes. He perfectly reads their movements, tightens his grip, and deletes the creature in a single hit. The other rookie is dumbfounded. Kai is one-shotting monsters with a piece of scrap metal. He teams up with a healer and forms a proper party, but the noise draws the attention of the visage beasts. These monsters are massive, fast, and ruthless. The tank realizes they are completely outmatched. He throws a desperation punch, only to get absolutely swatted into the dirt. The impact kicks up a cloud of debris. The healer refuses to run. She burns through all her mana just to heal Kai back to full health. They are running out of time. That's when Kai gets an idea. He asks her to extract raw snake venom and coat his weapon. She channels her magic into the blade. The rusty spike crackles with toxic energy. Kai goes full throttle. He slips past the beast's defenses. His teammate covers his blind spot. The tank grounds the monster with a heavy slam. Kai launches into the air. He drives the poison spike straight through its chest. The monster shrieks in agony and detonates in a blinding flash. The tank is speechless. The healer is starstruck. The beast drops dead. Kai stands there with a casual smile. He doesn't even hesitate before going after the second one. He tears it apart midair. His teammates cheer like they just won the lottery. They think they can survive anything now. Kai isn't just surviving the trials. He just became a walking glitch in the system. With the giant skinless meat monsters out of the way, the trio realizes they actually have a shot at reaching the final safe zone. The pink-haired healer is ready to pack it up and go straight to the finish line. But Kai is a gamer at heart. He points out that the military hands out top-tier gear to the highest-scoring rookies. Rushing to the end is a waste of a good grind. He suggests they stick around and farm the local wildlife to boost their scores. A few hours later, the sun goes down. Kai is shaking bushes in the dark to aggravate the monsters. Ju is sweating bullets. The guy is built like a brick wall, but has the survival instincts of a startled gazelle. Kai tells him to relax. He has a plan. He provokes another massive venomous snake. He dodges a strike that shatters the ground beneath him and secures another kill. He explains the system mechanics to his team. The game only grants experience points to the person who lands the final blow. The giant snakes lunge at him from the canopy. He cuts them down midair. His strategy is simple. He plans to spoon-feed himself every single kill until he reaches the next tier of power. The grind pays off. A blue screen announces he hit level 2. He pulls up his stat screen and smiles like a total menace. The team rushes over to see the damage. He gained 20 attribute points in a single jump. Nuanuan is terrified. Ju almost has a stroke looking at the numbers. Normal players gain 10 attribute points per level. The healer only has 12 points total. Kai is sitting on 56. Kai explains the catch. His gambler class forces a mandatory double multiplier on every system reward. The downside is that penalties hit twice as hard. The upside is that he becomes an unstoppable tank in record time. Right on cue, the system's guide descends from the digital heavens. Hitting level 2 grants a player their first class skill. Because of the talent, Kai gets 2. The first is Phantom Cards. It buffs the piercing damage of any thrown object by 200%. The second is Phantom Vision, a built-in sniper scope that slows down time and boosts tracking. Kai tests the interface. The glowing blue screens hover in the air around him. He just morphed from a melee brawler into a lethal range DPS. Meanwhile, back on Earth, 2 days have passed. The vibe in the control room is less tutorial fun and more national security crisis. Instructor Lanlin is furious. The data coming from the monitors makes no sense. An officer bursts into the room, shouting orders. The division commander, Wei Ying, arrives looking grim. He announces a worst-case scenario. A rival nation called Lunaria just initiated a large-scale invasion into the beginner zone. They use specialized stealth classes to bypass the borders undetected. Their entire goal is to hunt down low-level rookies, torture them, and force them to quit the game forever. Dying in the game does not kill the physical body, but the pain causes massive psychological trauma. It breaks people. Lanlin realizes her little sister is stuck inside a sealed map with a bunch of serial killers. The commander tells her to accept the reality. The rookies are on their own. They have to prepare for a scenario where no one makes it out alive. Back in the woods, Kai stops dead in his tracks. He senses movement in the distant shadows. He activates his new eye skill. The world zooms in with perfect clarity. He winds back and hurls a piece of scrap metal like an Olympic javelin. It rips through the night sky, connecting with a sickening crunch a mile away. Ju and Nuanuan are clueless. They jump out of their skin. The team walks over to find a massive spiked boar nailed to a rock. Kai yanks the metal spike out of the carcass. The boar drops high-tier bone spikes. He clicks yes to collect the loot. He just upgraded his ammo pouch. With the vision skill and the extra damage, he can snipe enemies before they even know he exists. The team heads down to a nearby river to wash off the grime. The water splashes. Eddie, 3 figures step out of the fog. One of them draws a blade. He tells the rookies not to panic. They are dressed like budget ninja cosplayers from a bad movie. They laugh at the kids, promising to skin them alive and leave them for the monsters. Kai steps in front of his team. Nuanuan checks her watch and her face drops. The scanner confirms the threat. These invaders are all sitting at level 3 or higher. Their captain wears a plague doctor mask and boasts a level 5 status. He draws his weapon, ready to start the bloodbath. Kai knows his team is outgunned. He tells them to split up and run. The plague doctor finds this hilarious. A cowardly rookie abandoning his friends is exactly what he expected. He sends his 2 underlings to hunt the stragglers while he enjoys the show. The assassins chase Ju through the brush. Yet they think they are playing a fun game of hide and seek. A bone spike rips through the air at supersonic speed. The ninja smiles, thinking he can deflect a weak projectile. The impact hits like a freight train. It snaps his blade in half and blasts him backward. His buddy turns around to find him pinned to a tree, dead. Kai steps out of the brush, radiating a menacing blue aura. He didn't run away, he just repositioned. His stats are sitting at 45 points. He is a level 2 rookie packing the punch of a mid-tier boss. The surviving ninja swings his sword out of pure terror. Kai sidesteps the blade and buries a spike right into his chest. He smiles. He tells the dying man he suggested splitting up to make the hunt easier. The system AI pops up with a massive notification screen. He can loot the experience points of the murdered stowaways, and because of his gambler talent, he gets double the cut. A blinding blue light wraps around his body. He shoots straight to level 3. He is now holding 76 attribute points. The level 5 captain he left behind only has 60. He pulls his weapon from the corpse and turns back toward the river. Ju and Nuanuan are cornered by the rest of the squad. The stowaways surround them like hungry wolves. The assassins inch closer, ready to start the torture session. The plague doctor raises his blade for the first strike. A massive glowing javelin drops from the sky. It crashes into the dirt, right in the middle of the group. The assassins look up in pure shock. Kai stands on the high ground, eyes locked on his prey. The plague doctor realizes something is very wrong with this rookie. He channels a speed skill and attempts to flee the scene before things get worse. Kai vanishes in a burst of green lightning. A massive digital wall slams down in front of the captain. He crashes into it and eats dirt. Kai drops down behind him, blocking the only exit route. Nuanuan rushes over to check on Ju. The big guy is bleeding out and collapses to the ground. She pours every ounce of healing magic she has left into his chest wound. Kai leaves the assassins breathing, but just barely. He explains the game plan. The rookies need to land the final blows to farm the massive experience points. He offers them up on a silver platter. Ju grins like a madman. It is payback time. Back in the control room, the tracking screens are lighting up with red failure alerts. The Lunaria assassins are dropping like flies across the board. Instructor Lanlin checks the feed, stunned. The commander assumes the rookies are being massacred, but the analyst corrects him. Nuanuan just advanced 2 levels. The rookies are slaughtering the elite hit squad. They try to pull Kai's combat data to see how he is doing it. The analyst realizes Kai is wearing a junk tier 1st generation wrist device. The servers for that specific model shut down a decade ago. Yahi is an untraceable ghost in the system. The commander finds this hilarious. In the forest, Ju stands up with a massive level up aura. He feels incredible. Nuanuan hits level 3 as well. She unlocks an area of effect stun attack and a potent healing buff. Kai pulls up his own screen to check his progress. He absorbed the captain's loot and jumps straight to level 4. He is carrying 96 attribute points. The kid is built like an endgame raid boss right out of the gate. He tells the team they aren't done yet. They are going hunting. The main force of the stowaways is wandering the woods, looking for more victims. Kai spots them from the tree line. 9 level 5 assassins group together. He doesn't bother with stealth. He dives straight into the middle of the pack. The assassins spot him and laugh. 01 rookie charging a veteran squad is pure suicide. They swing their blades in unison to cut him down. Kai steps through the weapons. He doesn't even draw his spike. He dances through the killing zone. He moves like a blur of blue energy. He unleashes a shockwave of raw aura that knocks them back on their heels. The assassins realize they can't land a single hit on this guy. One tries a sweeping low kick to break his stance. Kai hops over it and keeps his momentum. The stowaways tighten the circle to limit his movement. They swarm him from all sides with glowing daggers. He blocks a dual blade strike with 0 effort. The assassin stares into Kai's glowing green eyes and feels a sudden rush of dread. Kai's agility stat is too high for the assassins to track properly. The squad captain realizes they have been baited into a trap. He screams for a full retreat. They need to run, but it is way too late for that. Ju rushes in from the flank, glowing with explosive yellow power. He slams his fist into the dirt, triggering his new groundbreaker skill. The massive stun wave throws every single assassin into the air. Kai channels lightning into his spikes, preparing to strike. He steps into the impact zone, while the enemies are helpless. The veteran killers watch him approach in slow motion. A second later, the system registers 5 simultaneous elite kills. Kai hits the absolute level cap for the beginner's area, level 5. He leaves the last 4 assassins bleeding in the dirt for his teammates to finish off. They journey deeper into the woods, feeling untouchable. The trees shake. Something huge is approaching from above. A giant shadow looms over them, blocking out the moon. It's another visage beast, except this one is already dead. The massive corpse hits the ground with a thud. A streak of golden light zips past the trees. A tiny fireball crashes into the dirt in front of them. Kai realizes whatever this thing is, it hunts giant boss monsters for breakfast. He activates his speed buff, tracking the movement. He locks his eyes on the golden blur. It stops moving for half a second to catch its breath. Kai reaches out with lightning-fast reflexes and grabs it right out of the air. The apex predator turns out to be a chubby, furious golden hamster. The little guy screams in rage and sparks with fire magic. It fires a concentrated laser beam straight at Kai's chest. Kai just squeezes tighter. The attack does 0 damage to his massive health pool. The hamster squirms and kicks, Nay trying to break free. After a few minutes of failing to escape, the mouse throws up a tiny white flag. It surrenders to the stronger player. Nuanuan thinks it's adorable. Kai just thinks it's a good asset. They strip the monster carcasses for parts and finally make their way out of the dense forest. The trees clear, revealing the massive glowing gates of the holy city. 3 armored knights stand guard at the entrance to the hub world. The guide congratulates Kai for passing the trial, but mentions someone else already claimed first place. Kai grins. He doesn't care about first place. He opens his inventory. A massive waterfall of boss-tier loot cards rains down onto the stairs. The knights stare in pure shock. Because first place or not, this kid is about to break the game's economy. Enter Huang Wei, the second young master of the Huang family and future leader of the Black Tortoise Guild. The armored guards realize exactly who they are dealing with. The Black Tortoise Guild ranks in the top 10 across the entire country. The lead knight offers his congratulations. Based on his point total, Huang Wei secured a top 10 spot in the entire holy city. But first place in a beginner trial means nothing to this rich kid. It is just a stepping stone. He believes the entire planet will soon bend to his family's era. Meanwhile, a few hours earlier, deep in the beginner forest, Ju gets a terrifying answer to why the woods have been so empty. Massive glowing claws touch down on the dirt. Kai freezes in his tracks. The team is surrounded by a massive pack of shadow wolves, and their leader is something out of a nightmare, the Shadow Wolf King, the undefeated boss of the beginner zone. Kai grips his weapon. They walk straight into the apex predator's territory. Dozens of glowing red eyes stare down from the canopy. Nuanuan panics as the pack closes in from every direction. Ju loses his nerve. The Wolf King has an undefeated track record against rookies. He grips his metal staff, considering his options. If he abandons his team, he might survive, but leaving Kai and Nuanuan means leaving them to die. Kai steps up and makes the call. They hold their ground. Ju summons his martial artist aura. Golden energy erupts around his body. A massive beam of energy shoots past the trees. The Wolf King dodges the strike without breaking a stride. Ju slams the dirt, triggering his groundbreaker skill to scatter the lower tier wolves. Nuanuan channels her magic, all ready to apply a venom buff to Kai's weapon. Kai activates his phantom vision. A massive blue energy spike materializes in the air above the boss. The Wolf King intercepts it with 0 effort. The beast roars without a single scratch on its pelt. The monster pack regroups, preparing to swarm the 3 rookies. Kai screams for Ju to move. He charges his spike with crackling dark energy. Inside his pocket, the golden hamster finally wakes up from its nap. It peeks out of the fabric and spots the giant wolves looming over them. The little creature locks eyes with the Wolf King. The hamster reaches maximum morning grumpiness. A concentrated laser of pure fire magic erupts from its mouth. The beam hits the Wolf King square in the chest. Kai activates his eye skill. Time slows down. The green crosshairs lock onto the fresh burn wound. Kai becomes a blur of blue electricity. He aims his toxic spike straight for the exposed flesh. The boss realizes the danger a split second too late. Kai drives the spike home. Dark energy floods the boss's nervous system. The 200 times critical multiplier triggers a massive blue explosion. Kai stands back up, unharmed. The system confirms the impossible kill. Jang Kai defeated the invincible area boss. The remaining wolves stare at the ashes of their leader. They turn tail and run for the hills. Kai turns back toward his team with a dangerous smile. Nuanuan blasts a fleeing straggler with her magic. Ju crushes another with a glowing golden punch. Kai stands amidst the flames of the battlefield. The Wolf King lies dead in the dirt. The team regroups over the massive carcass. Kai checks his stash, as he has gathered an absurd amount of points. The scene shifts to the Holy City finish line. The hamster bails out of Nuanuan's hands and hits the floor. Kai tells the little guy they might meet again. The system guide welcomes the surviving rookies into the massive digital hub. Kai walks up to the armored knights to check the final rankings. Huang Wei points at the blue digital scoreboard, laughing at their arrival. Kai's expression expression darkens. He remembers this exact rich kid from the real world, the guy who harassed his sister and mocked his sick brother. Ju steps forward, ready to knock his teeth out. Kai stops him. Kai announces that the rankings are about to update. Huang Wei points a finger, calling them delusional slum trash. The massive central pillar updates its data stream. Huang Wei and his crew stare at the changing numbers. Yes, the readout shows an impossible amount of monster carcasses registered to Kai's team. Blue screens pop up everywhere, confirming the kills. A massive projection of the Shadow Wolf King hovers above the crowd. Huang Wei starts sweating. He refuses to accept the math. Kai stands tall, letting the numbers speak for themselves. The board solidifies the final ranks. Huang Wei stares at his own name, pushed down the list. The crowd murmurs in awe. Kai throws a handful of black wristbands onto the floor. The lead knight recoils. These are the tracking watches of the Lunaria stowaways. Huang Wei seizes the opportunity. He accuses Kai of forging the items to cheat the system. He demands a full investigation and their disqualification. The lead knight hesitates, ordering his men to detain the rookies. A heavy boot steps between them. Enter Lu Jun, Wei deputy commander of the River City military. Dressed in a spotless white suit, Huang Wei recognizes the man and his own argument crumbles. Lu Jun congratulates Kai for resolving a national security crisis. He announces a massive upgrade to the trial rewards. Kai's first place prize is elevated to Grade S. Ju cheers and pats Kai on the back. The crowd loses its mind. Grade S gear in the beginner zone breaks the game economy. The scene transitions to the reward workshop. A Grade A weapon is already considered top tier for veterans. Huang Wei bursts into the room, screaming about the unfairness of the results. Kai turns around. He warns Huang Wei not to insult his family again. The rich kid draws a golden sword and charges. He screams insults about Kai's siblings. Huang Wei swings the blade with killing intent. Kai doesn't dodge. He meets the swing with his own weapon. He drives the metal spike straight through Huang Wei's chest. The entire room freezes in horror. Lu Jun adjusts his glasses, watching the situation unfold. Huang Wei coughs up blood, staring at the spike. Kai doesn't care about guild status. His family is off limits. He lays out his rule plain and simple. Old Lu Jun watches the interaction, noting Kai's ruthless streak. Huang Wei falls backward onto the floor. Kai pulls up his loot screen. Killing a level 1 player only drops 25 experience points. He looks down in disgust. The crowd whispers about the consequences. Attacking a top 10 guild member is a death wish. Lu Jun steps forward. He admires the kid's reckless bravery. He disperses the crowd and motions for the trio to follow him. He smiles, leading them into the vault. 3 massive chests await them. Nuanuan opens hers first. A glowing green orb floats into the air. A life gemstone, the ultimate starting gear for a healer. Ju tries on his reward, a full set of Blackrock Rhino leather armor. They urge Kai to open his S-rank chest. The system interface demands an identification card to reveal the item. And inside the chest rest 9 pristine, curved red daggers. Lu Jun explains that top-tier equipment always requires identification. He pulls a glowing blue crystal from his coat pocket to help. The stats appear. 9 trials of pursuit. The special effect increases critical rate with every consecutive hit. Lu Jun notes the flaw. Beginners have low base attack power. A critical type weapon relies on high base damage. Ju demands an exchange, thinking the military gave his friend a useless prize. Lu Jun refuses. The military distributes rewards randomly. Kai picks up one of the daggers. He smiles. It is a flawless fit for a gambler. His class talent guarantees a 200 times damage multiplier on every critical hit. His only weakness was a low base critical rate. With these daggers, even the 9th strike guarantees a 90% chance to crit. He holds the blade up to the light. He found the missing piece to his build. Before Kai leaves, the deputy commander gives him a warning. Someone very important is coming to look for him. The scene shifts to the real world, the slums of River City. Kai pedals his bike down the rusted streets, planning to move his siblings to a safer district. The dilapidated apartment complex comes into view. He checks his phone, eager to share the good news. He opens the door to his unit. He steps inside, calling out to his siblings. 2 men in military uniforms stand in the middle of his living room. One of them wears dark sunglasses and a heavy black coat. Huang Da. One of the goons grabs Kai by the shoulder. They throw him hard against the wall. They force him to his knees on the concrete floor. Huang Da looks down at him, mentioning that Kai's brother is currently receiving therapy. He promises to ensure Kai can never log into Phantom Star again. Huang Da draws a massive blade and swings it toward Kai's head. A wooden door shatters. 2 military officers burst into the room. The impact sends the Huang family goons flying across the living room. Huang Da stumbles backward, demanding to know who dares interrupt. Instructor Lanlin steps through the doorway. Veteran Commander Wei Ying follows close behind. Lanlin holds up a document with a military seal. Huang Da recognizes the highest authority in the River City military. Wei Ying takes a drag from his cigarette. He tells the thug he messed with the wrong person. Huang Da starts sweating bullets. Kai looks up from the floor, and confused by the top brass standing in his living room. Military police haul the Huang family goons out to the armored transport vehicles. Kai stands on the balcony with the 2 commanders, thanking them. Wei Ying explains the situation. Ju and Nuanuan have already been recruited. Lanlin confirms they are here to offer Kai the same deal. Wei Ying exhales a cloud of smoke. He reveals the real reason they showed up. Kai registered as a new profession. Kai's eyes widen. He didn't think the system tracked his hidden class. Lanlin explains the mechanics. ranks. Every 20 levels, explorers undergo a class advancement. Some paths lead to incredible power, while others turn into dead ends. Finding an undiscovered profession is a top priority for national security. Wei Ying formally offers him a position. Lanlin guarantees full protection for his family if he accepts. She appeals to his duty. Humanity needs strong fighters to survive the ongoing apocalypse. Kai looks out over the slums. Wei Ying tells him to report to base tomorrow morning. Kai turns his back to them and rejects the offer outright. Lanlin is stunned. Kai explains his reasoning. Joining the military removes his autonomy. He references history. The military once hyped up the drunkard profession, but when the class proved useless in the late game, the military abandoned those soldiers. They ended up on the streets as beggars. He raises a fist. He trusts his own strength to protect his siblings. Lanlin gets angry, calling his perspective selfish. Kai smiles. He doesn't care about saving the world. He just wants to save his brother. Wei Ying stops his subordinate from arguing. He crushes out his cigarette. He proposes a bet. The military will guard his family for 1 month. If Kai can earn the money for the surgery entirely solo, he keeps his freedom. Kai smiles and accepts the challenge. He turns back toward his apartment, knowing exactly what he has to do next. He logs straight back into Phantom Star. Yes, he needs to find a high-level zone to farm expensive loot. He walks through the Holy City streets. His new blue and gray combat suit is a massive upgrade. He walks past the guild registration building. Joining a guild is standard practice for beginners to increase their survival rates. Solo farming is generally considered a fast track to getting killed, but Kai walks right past the entrance. He remembers his attempt to join earlier. The receptionist recognized his name. The Huang family used their influence to blacklist him from every guild in the city. He has no choice but to ride solo. He arrives at the suburban teleportation hub. A girl with purple hair approaches him. Hu Yan, a level 29 prophet. She offers a reading. Kai gives her a deadpan stare and declines, claiming he is an atheist. Why she gets desperate and offers a free promotional reading. Kai's eyes light up. Free is his favorite price. A golden compass dial appears in the air, glowing with mystic runes. Her expression drops. She tells him his current path leads straight to danger. She advises him to head toward King's Valley. Kai rubs his chin. The Ash Plains are the standard beginner zone, but the Huang family will definitely set up an ambush there. King's Valley is populated by monsters ranging from level 10 to 15. He thanks the prophet and steps onto the teleportation pad. She panics. She meant for him to go with a full team. Going in alone is pure suicide. She packs up her gear and runs away before anyone blames her for his death. The scene transitions to the lush, towering peaks of King's Valley. Kai materializes on the dirt path, and a massive ape monster charges through the brush, tearing up the landscape. A squad of veteran explorers is engaged in a desperate fight against it. The creature is a mighty black ape, level 11, massive strength and agility. The squad coordinates their elemental attacks perfectly. Kai watches from behind a rock, admiring their teamwork. 3 more massive shadows loom in the forest behind him. He realizes he walked into the middle of an ape spawn zone. The scanner confirms he aggroed a level 12, 13, and 14 mighty black apes simultaneously. Meanwhile, the squad finishes off their target. The captain boasts about 0 casualties. A massive explosion of dirt erupts from the tree line right behind them. The squad turns around in sheer terror. Kai comes flying out of the brush, running for his life. Yes, the 3 higher level apes are chasing him down like a runaway train. The squad captain screams that the kid is an idiot for pulling 3 heavy mobs at once. Kai jumps into the air. He draws his red daggers, the 9 trials of pursuit. The level 12 ape lunges upward. The red blade cuts straight through the monster's arm. The 200 times critical damage triggers instantly. The ape explodes into digital data. The squad captain screams a warning as the level 13 ape charges in from the flank. Kai channels his energy into the daggers. He unleashes a flurry of rapid slashes. The critical damage modifier obliterates the second monster on contact. The squad is completely paralyzed. He just deleted 2 veteran tier monsters. He finishes off the final ape just as easily. He registers the 3 carcass loot cards hovering in the air. Solo farming is a breeze. The squad captain leaps over a rock to intercept him. He scolds Kai for stealing their farming spot, sweating nervously because he knows Kai could wipe his squad. The sun sets over the Ash Plains. A different group of players is searching the beginner zone for Kai. They are level 20 veterans hired by the Huang family, the Falcon Squad. The female assassin chokes a random player, demanding to know where Kai is hiding. The purple-haired prophet girl watches from a distance, sweating nervously. A blue-armored warrior throws a player to the dirt. The prophet girl drops her compass in fear. She remembers her reading. King's Valley means death for Kai. She hopes he survived. The mystic skull symbol of her reading fades into the purple smoke. Back in King's Valley, 1 day has passed. Kai checks his stats. He slaughtered 16 apes and hit level 7. A large group of players approaches him from the brush. The squad captain from earlier explains that 3 squads have allied to hunt an elite mighty black ape. He offers Kai a spot on the raid team for a share of the treasure chest. A hooded man steps forward, the raid leader. He points to a cave entrance guarded by 4 elite apes. Their strategy is simple. They want Kai to act as bait to lure one of the apes away. Kai narrows his eyes. Asking a solo player to lure an elite boss is an obvious death sentence. The raid raid leader smiles under his hood. He fully expects Kai to die, so they don't have to split the loot. Kai smirks. He sees right through the trap. The raid team scatter into position and engage the 3 apes. Kai dashes toward the cave. A massive hand slams down right in front of him. The 4th elite ape erupts from the dust, furious. Kai leads his target away from the cave entrance. The elite ape throws a punch that carries the force of a wrecking ball. Kai drives the red daggers directly into the beast's chest. The impact crater kicks up a cloud of debris. The raid teams coordinate their strikes to chip away at the other apes. Kai realizes his attack did absolutely nothing to the beast. The notification confirms 0 damage inflicted. The boss's defense stat is too high. Kai remembers the wolf fight. Internal organs are not protected by the armored pelt. He pulls up the scanner. The monster is a level 20 Titan ape. Danger level very high. Kai throws his daggers directly at its face. The blades bounce off the creature's armored skull like useless toys. The ape brings both fists down. The ground erupts beneath Kai's feet. He coughs up dust, taking heavy damage from the shockwave. The giant fist closes around him. Blood drips down his face. A flashback overtakes his mind. He remembers running through burning rubble. Wei Ying's voice echoed in his head, telling him to stay awake. He snaps back to reality. He channels all his remaining energy into the red dagger. He refuses to fail his brother. The ape throws its head back and swallows him whole. The creature's eyes suddenly light up with blinding white energy. A massive explosion detonates inside its skull. The Titan ape crashes to the ground, dead. Kai drops down from the carcass. He targeted the unprotected inside of the mouth to bypass the external defense. He walks back toward the cave entrance. The glowing treasure chest is waiting. 30 minutes later, the raid teams finish off the remaining apes. The raid leader walks into the cave and finds the pedestal completely empty. He screams in frustration. The captain from earlier steps up and admits he saw Kai sneak into the cave during the fight. The raid leader loses his mind. A level 7 rookie played all of them for absolute fools. Miles away, on the other side of King's Valley, Kai sets the massive elite treasure chest down in a clearing. The lid pops open. Golden light spills out. He finds a pile of rare ores and high-tier crafting materials. He uncovers a pair of dark gauntlets with a glowing red emblem. He tightens the straps over his hands. A burst of golden energy wraps around him. The gauntlets provide massive boosts to strength and agility. He decides to test out the offensive capabilities. He throws a flurry of slashes across the clearing. Small embers follow the trajectory of his blades. He reads the item description. It adds a basic flame effect to all weapon attacks. Basic flames only deal 10 points of damage per tick. It is considered useless for combat. Kai sighs in disappointment. The S-rank gauntlets seem underwhelming. A deafening roar interrupts his thoughts. 4 level 18 Titan apes surround him. He prepares to use the same internal strike strategy as before. The beast snaps its jaws shut, completely blocking its mouth. Kai starts sweating. The tactic won't work on 4 targets simultaneously. The apes coordinate their attacks, swiping at him from multiple angles. One of the apes brushes past his gauntlet. The basic flame effect catches on its fur. A measly 10 points of damage registers. The fire spreads from the first ape to the others. The fire engulfs the entire pack. The 10 damage ticks instantly trigger his 200 times critical multiplier. The basic embers erupt into a blazing inferno. Kai watches the massacre. The math finally clicks in his head. The flames ignore the beast's external armor entirely. A massive chain reaction of critical fire damage sweeps the field. The 4 giant carcasses hit the dirt, completely charred. Kai smiles. 2,000 points of damage per second, continuously applied to multiple targets. He looks down at the glowing red emblem on his gauntlet. He activates the full power of the gauntlets, the fire incarnation. He smiles like a total menace. He found his ultimate weapon. Later that night, the sky above King's Valley burns bright orange. The entire ape population experiences an extinction-level event. Kai walks through the forest, roasting elite mobs without breaking a sweat. He ensures no treasure chest within a 10-mile radius goes unturned. The sun rises on a new day in King's Valley. The smoke clears over the devastated landscape. Kai pulls up his stat board. He hit level 7 and farmed dozens of high-tier carcasses. He reviews the massive wall of elite chest rewards. He admits that farming solo is efficient, but he actually misses fighting alongside Ju and Nuanuan. Meanwhile, back at the entrance of King's Valley, Ju is losing his mind. Nuanuan sighs in exhaustion. They haven't found a single monster to hunt in days. Captain Li Biao lectures them. He brought them to this high-level zone for training, not to listen to complaints. Ju and Nuanuan miss Key's efficiency. 3 days later, the Falcon Squad arrives at a pile of charred ape carcasses. The assassin girl realizes that killing one of these beasts is normally a major challenge. The squad leader sits by a campfire. He mentions hearing rumors about an almighty player who wiped out the entire zone solo. He smirks. He thinks it is just an exaggerated story told by weak rookies. He scoffs at the idea. If he ever runs into this mysterious player, he plans to show them what real power looks like. A player snacks on his loot, taking a break in King's Valley. The break ends when a digital wanted poster gets shoved in his face. A veteran squad is actively hunting the rookie who turned the local ape population into an endangered species. The squad leader smiles. He smells easy money. A blade gets ripped from the dirt. Meet the Falcon Squad, elite enforcers for the Black Tortoise Guild. The bystanders realize exactly who these people are targeting. Meanwhile, the exit to King's Valley is packed with players. They are all waiting for the local boss monsters to respawn after the recent massacre. shoulder. The culprit walks right past them, checking his digital haul. Someone screams his name across the clearing. Kai stops and glances over his shoulder. The Falcon leader grins, thinking he just cornered a helpless rookie. The crowd mutters, he recognizing the infamous guild crests. Kai connects the dots. The Black Tortoise Guild, Huang Wei's people. The enforcer draws his weapon with zero hesitation. The entire squad leaps into the air, blades drawn. Kai slides his foot back. He evades the strike, leaving a trail of blue energy. The female assassin laughs, revealing the massive bounty placed on his head. Kai sparks the arsonist gauntlet. Basic flames coat his hand. He sends his red daggers spinning into the fray. The squad deflects the projectiles with ease. The assassin takes a grazing hit, a measly 10 points of damage. She mocks the weak attack right as the explosion triggers. Kai smiles. 10 points is just a base damage. The fire spreads to the leader's shoulder. The 200 times critical multiplier detonates. The squad's healer screams in pure panic. The flames consume the veteran fighter in a split second. The assassin realizes she is fighting a walking natural disaster. Another blast chain reacts across the field. The leader wails as the critical hits melt his health bar. A wall of superheated plasma sweeps the clearing. The entire squad gets vaporized in a single, continuous eruption. The system registers the elite kills. The squad leader stands amidst the ashes, barely holding on to his last sliver of health. Kai walks through the fire, untouched. He steps right over the dying enforcer. The bystanders clutch their heads. A level 12 rookie just wiped a level 20 hit squad. Kai pulls his red dagger back from the dirt. The crowd tries to scan his attributes to make sense of the math. A veteran explorer spots the error message. They assume he must be a secret fire mage class. The massive experience drop pushes Kai straight to level 14. The system AI materializes beside him. She explains that his double talent bloated his hidden stats past the readable limit. Kai glances over his shoulder. The glitch keeps his true strength hidden. He heads straight for the Holy City trading zone. The receptionist sighs, expecting another broke rookie with useless junk. Kai taps his interface. She gives him a dismissive look, judging his basic gear. Then she sees the inventory screen. Her dismissive attitude evaporates. A massive cascade of elite ape carcasses hovers above the counter. He isn't done. He swipes to the next tab. 19 pristine elite treasure chests fill the air. He asks for a price check. She stares at him like he just printed his own money. Nobody farms elites in batches. She snaps out of her daze. She slams her hands down, shifting into high gear sales mode. The numbers get punched in. She reads the final appraisal off the receipt. 180,000 Phantom Star coins. Converted to real-world money, it comes out to 1.8 million. He strides out of the trading hub. The medical bills are covered. He won the bet. Hu Yan sprints down the cobblestone street. The purple-haired prophet catches up, out of breath. She puts on her best, most persuasive smile. She begs him for a spot on his squad. Kai gives her a deadpan stare. He works alone. She drops the act. Her shoulders slump. The military abandon her class. He stops walking. She assumes he is logging out forever now that he has cash. They stand by the fountain. She admits nobody wants a fortune teller in a dungeon raid. She explains how her starting feng shui class gave her a false sense of security. When she hit level 20, the prophet advancement stripped away all her combat potential. The military commanders saw the dead-end build and dumped her squad. Now, she idles in the safe zone, useless and broke. If she goes back to Earth, she faces a grim future of manual labor. Kai winces. He knows exactly what that life does to a person. She tries to laugh it off, but the tears well up. She has younger siblings to feed. Kai sees a flash of his older brother in a mining helmet. The memory hits close to home. His brother destroyed his own health to keep Kai and their sister off the streets, carrying impossible weights until his body gave out. Hu Yan turns to leave, accepting her rejection. Kai calls out to her. He tells her they are teaming up. Her eyes widen in pure shock. Her knees tremble. The tears spill over for real this time. She launches herself into a flying hug, nearly knocking him over. Back on Earth, the sun rises over the River City shantytown. Kai sits at the worn kitchen table with his siblings. He breaks the news. He made the money. The surgery is scheduled for tomorrow. His brother stammers, and overwhelmed by the sudden salvation. Kai brushes it off. It is the least he could do, after everything his brother sacrificed. A framed photo sits on the shelf, a reminder of what they survived. They raise their paper cups, toasting to a new life. Kai takes a long drink. His phone lights up on the table. It's Commander Wei. He stands before a burning skyline. He congratulates Kai on winning the bet, then demands a meeting. A military transport drops Kai off at the Beast God's war zone. Armed soldiers escort him through the barricades. Commander Wei stands at the edge of a massive crater, looking out over the destruction. A deafening sound rattles the concrete. Kai loses his footing as the shockwave hits. A wall of fire erupts from the ruined buildings. A colossal mutated beast tears through the urban decay. A giant energy spear shoots past Kai's head. 3 armored figures dive straight toward the monster. Kai realizes these are humans fighting the giant beast in real life. Wei explains the power scale. Explorers max out at level 80. Breaking past that threshold requires a qualitative evolution. The 3 warriors coordinate a massive strike on the beast. A beam of pure magic obliterates the monster's face. The detonation kicks up a storm of dust and rubble. One of the fighters lands, his gauntlet glowing with residual heat. A mage hovers above the ground, blue aura radiating from her cloak. Wei reveals the secret. The abilities unlocked in Phantom Star work on Earth. The game is the only reason humanity stands a chance against extinction. The beast recoils from the barrage of high-tier skills. A massive energy blade cleaves through the monster's hide. Boiling blood rains down on the ruins. The impact craters the earth beneath the warrior's feet. Kai watches the fight, adrenaline pumping. Wei keeps his eyes fixed on the battle. This is just an ordinary beast god. He exhales a cloud of smoke. They lost 2 supers today just holding this line. The reality of the war sets in. The death toll is real. They stand over a bottomless fissure carved into the city. Blue lightning crackles in the stormy sky above them. Wei honors the bet. He won't force Kai into the military. He takes another drag. He already told the Huang family to back off. He did it because he trusts his veteran instincts. He sees a kid who might grow strong enough to save the entire kingdom. A heavy raindrop hits the debris. The beast god lies dead in the ruins. The rain washes the blood away. Wei acknowledges that Kai just wants to protect his siblings. Wars are dangerous. Even the strongest fighters bleed out in the mud eventually, but somebody has to hold the line. He looks at Kai. He is willing to die for this country. A flash illuminates Kai's face. Wei hopes the kid will choose to fight when the time comes. They stand in silence as the storm rolls over the dead city. A few days later, back in the holy city, Kai walks through the streets, pondering Wei's heavy expectations. He shakes it off. He needs to focus on grinding. The apes aren't worth the experience anymore. He pulls up the data for his next target, the Wandering Enchantress, a level 20 elite, high damage, fear aura, ghost vitality. Her attacks paralyze anyone within 10 meters, but she only takes damage inside that same radius. And now Kai closes his eyes. He has a strategy. He spots Hu Yan waiting by the guild halls. She brought baggage, a chubby kid clinging to her leg. She lights up, relieved that Kai didn't abandon her. She introduces her new recruit, a supposed monster-hunting prodigy. Kai smiles. A strong teammate is always welcome. Ruin Yu stands up, reeking of alcohol and covered in glass bottles. Kai instantly turns around and speedwalks in the opposite direction. Hu Yan panics, grabbing Ruin Yu's collar. She screams for Kai to reconsider. The kid is obedient and hardworking. Ruin Yu fidgets nervously with his overall straps. She plays her trump card. He cooks, cleans, and demands 0 loot. Kai spins around with burning intensity. He throws his hand up. He grabs Ruin Yu's hand. 0% loot share is a compelling argument. He officially declares Ruin Yu part of the family. Hu Yan sighs. Kai's greed is incredibly transparent. Night falls over the jagged peaks of King's Valley. The team approaches an isolated wooden cabin on a rocky overlook. Pale blue fingers pry the wooden door open. The Wandering Enchantress hovers into the moonlight, radiating a spectral chill. She lets out a hollow, terrifying moan. Kai and Hu Yan crouch in the dense brush. He warns her to keep quiet, yet they have to sneak within 10 meters without triggering her shriek. He hears a strange noise behind them. Hu Yan points a finger, confused. Kai looks back. The noise isn't coming from the monster. It's coming from Ruin Yu. The kid is sprawled out on the dirt, snoring loudly, surrounded by empty booze bottles. Kai grinds his teeth. The idiot just blew their cover. The enchantress snaps her head toward the bushes and floats upward. She unhinges her jaw. A ball of concentrated sound gathers in her throat. Hu Yan loses her mind. They are dead. The shriek of terror hits the ground like a physical shockwave. Kai's pupils dilate. His entire nervous system locks up. His body hits the dirt. The system interface flashes red. Status: petrified. The enchantress floats over his paralyzed body, claws extended. She lunges for the kill. Suddenly, old Ruan Yu sits up, a massive drunken grin on his face. He launches himself into the air like a cannonball. He looks at the horrifying specter and sees a beautiful woman. The enchantress freezes, baffled by the incoming projectile. The distraction breaks the petrification spell. Kai regains control of his limbs. He stands up, his gauntlet already flooding the daggers with fire. He uses the opening, jumping straight toward the distracted boss. He drives the blazing blades into the ghost's back, over and over. Meanwhile, Ruin Yu plants a sloppy kiss right on the monster's teeth. He declares the horrified ghost his new wife. The 200 times critical multiplier finally triggers on Kai's strikes. Ruan Yu gets blasted back by the shockwave, landing in the dirt. The system confirms the elite kill. Hu Yan cheers. Ruan Yu sits on his knees. He devastated. He wails in agony. They just exploded the love of his life. Hu Yan whispers the truth to Kai. The kid gets weird when he drinks. She runs toward the glowing treasure chest left behind by the ghost. Fast forward. A second enchantress appears. Ruin Yu tackles it in a drunken embrace. Kai watches from the brush. The alcohol acts as a total immunity buff against the fear mechanic. Kai smiles. He cracked the code. Hu Yan runs back with another elite chest. Kai grins like a supervillain. Ruin Yu is the ultimate boss bait. Hu Yan shivers. She feels bad for the kid. They move to the next spawn location. Another enchantress emerges. Ruin Yu rockets across the clearing. The monster shrieks in fury. Kai literally throws the drunken kid at the boss like a capture item. The enchantress is too grossed out to cast her spell. He asks why she is drooling over him. The ghost physically throws him onto the ground in disgust. Kai steps into the 10-meter radius, his gauntlet blazing. A flurry of flaming red daggers cuts through the dark. The blades bury themselves into the ghost's spectral flesh. Another massive critical detonation lights up the sky. Elite kill confirmed. Ruin Yu blinks, the explosion knocking him out of his stupor. He watches his new wife turn into falling ash. He slams his face into the dirt, weeping uncontrollably. Kai ignores the breakdown. He orders them to find the next spawn point before the kid sobers up. 3 hours of non-stop grinding. Explosions rock the valley. Kai and Hu Yan open chest after chest. chest, bathed in golden light. Behind them, Ruin Yu screams as his 35th consecutive wife detonates. Then a massive haul of loot drops onto the grass. They wipe the entire zone clean. Kai checks his interface. The mass slaughter boosted him to level 14. Ruin Yu sits in a puddle of his own tears, utterly traumatized by the repeated breakups. Kai tosses him a fresh piece of equipment as compensation for his broken heart. Kai holds up 2 rare skill cards looted from the cabins. The first is Rain Invocation. It creates localized downpours to alter the battlefield. He gives it to Hu Yan. Her massive stamina stat makes her the perfect caster. She clutches the card, trembling with excitement. She finally has a combat utility skill. She drops to her knees, pledging eternal loyalty to her new boss. Kai looks at the second card. It is a one-time use skill point specifically for hidden professions. The item grants a single temporary skill that vanishes after use. He activates it immediately. A surge of blue energy flows into his glove. The system AI appears to announce his new temporary ability, Gambler's Heist. The skill allows him to steal a tiny fraction of stats from anyone who looks at him. Kai is underwhelmed. He asks if that is really all it does. He clutches his head. Stealing a fraction of a stat point is mathematically useless in a small fight. Ruin Yu rubs his eyes. The booze is finally wearing off. He clutches his chest, feeling an unexplainable sense of profound loss. Hu Yan leans in and cruelly reminds him that he lost 35 wives last night. The realization hits him. He vomits a rainbow of cheap alcohol onto the grass. He begs Kai for forgiveness, ashamed of his drunken blackout. Kai holds out a high-tier combat suit. He tells the kid to put it on. He earned it. Kai declares him the undeniable core of the squad. Without his bait tactics, they would have died. Ruin Yu cries a fresh wave of tears, overwhelmed by the praise. Hu Yan watches Kai manipulate the boy's emotions with a piece of mid-tier loot. She sees Kai for what he truly is, a calculating, profit-driven demon, and she loves it. They both drop to their knees, worshipping their new captain. Back at the trading zone, Oin, the receptionist, is thrilled. Kai's massive haul secured her the sales champion bonus. Kai checks his balance. 8.4 million coins. His family is set for life. He steps out of the changing room, wearing his new purchases. The night pants grant brief invisibility. The phantom leather armor provides a one-time dodge against a fatal strike, and the arsonist gloves turn his high critical damage into a blazing area of effect weapon. He walks out with his base agility sitting at a staggering 132. Ruin Yu runs up to him, holding a thick wooden log. He announces he finished modifying the red daggers. He throws the log into the air and hurls a dagger past it. Kai panics, thinking the kid just threw away his best weapon. The blade stops mid-air, reverses trajectory, and shoots straight backward. Ruan Yu scrambles to catch the falling log. The returning dagger slices cleanly through the thick wood on its way back to Kai. Kai catches the hilt perfectly. Ruan Yu explains his engineering trick. He installed a powerful magnetic recall system in the gloves. Kai's eyes light up. The daggers are no longer single-use projectiles, and the return trajectory turns every miss into a secondary strike. He praises the kid's genius. The modifications make the weapon broken. He raises 2 fingers to the sky to test their other new trick. A surge of mana hits the clouds above the holy city. Rain begins to fall over the cobblestones. Hu Yan hovers in the air, channeling her rain invocation skill. The downpour is heavy, but it doesn't deal any actual damage. Kai realizes the true potential. Water conducts heat. If he combines the rain with his critical flames, he can create a zone of blinding, scalding steam. Hu Yan grins, thrilled to finally contribute a combat tactic. A squad of veteran players runs past them, complaining about the sudden weather. They mention the Huang family is leading 200,000 players to Permafrost Island. They are rushing to join the raid against the king-level boss. Kai listens closely. Defeating a king boss secures vital real-world resources for the nation. The phantom territories are locked behind these colossal monsters. The system scales threats from normal grunts all the way up to map-ruling kings. Taking one down requires an entire army of high-level players coordinating strikes. Kai wonders if Huang Wei is actually doing something heroic for once. He remembers Commander Wei's words about fighting for humanity's survival. He steps out into the rain. It's time to see this war for himself. The team teleports to Permafrost Island. A freezing gale rips across the frozen tundra. Ruin Yu shivers. Nobody packed winter gear for a snow biome. A voice booms over the wind. 3 veteran players stand on a ridge, yelling at the rookies to get off the ice. They warn Kai that the frozen lake is strictly forbidden territory before the raid begins. The ice beneath Kai's feet begins to spiderweb. A colossal bipedal murloc erupts from the freezing water, shattering the surface. The level 22 monster locks its glowing red eyes on the team. The veterans panic. A murloc requires a full squad of level 20s to handle safely. The beast swings a massive bone trident directly at Kai's head. That Kai doesn't even flinch. His phantom leather armor triggers automatically, turning his body intangible for a split second. The deadly strike passes straight through him. He solidifies and drives his boot into the creature's jaw. The arsonist gloves trigger a point-blank critical explosion of flame. The veterans watch in absolute horror as a supposed rookie vaporizes a mid-tier threat. Kai checks his gauntlet. His strength stat is high enough that even his basic hits are lethal. He tests the daggers, sending them spinning into the frozen lake. They snap back to his magnetic gloves instantly. He turns back to the stunned veterans and casually asks for directions to Huang Wei. The veterans frantically point the way, terrified of the kid who just casually deleted a murloc. Kai leaves his team behind and walks into the snowy pine forest alone. A massive armored boot steps into his path. Kai looks up and smiles. He found his target. Huang Wei stands in a full set of gleaming silver plate armor, surrounded by his goons. Kai offers a truce. He suggests they drop the grudge and focus on the boss raid. Huang Wei draws a broadsword. Blue lightning arcs across the steel. He rejects the peace. He spent weeks in therapy after Kai humiliated him. He admits he only joined the war effort to gain the political leverage needed to execute Kai legally. Huang Wei leaps into the air, and bringing the lightning blade down with killing intent. Kai catches the razor-sharp edge barehanded. Fire spills from his grip. The Falcon squad flanks him, mocking his perceived weakness. The leader checks his scanner. Kai is only level 14. They think it's an easy kill. Huang Wei screams as his armor superheats from Kai's grip. Kai's eyes glow green. He warns the squad not to interfere. The lightning sword shatters into pieces. Kai unleashes a barrage of flaming daggers into the snow. The assassins dodge the projectiles, closing the distance. They surround him, confident that a ranged fighter is helpless in close combat. One of the level 30 assassins swings for Kai's back. The blade strikes true, but the thrown daggers reverse their trajectory in the air. They rip through the assassin's back, detonating on impact. The squad stares in disbelief. The weapons return like boomerangs. The assassin drops dead in the snow, an instant kill against a level 30 veteran. Kai doesn't stop moving. He blurs through the flames. He drives a blazing fist straight through the chest plate of the next enforcer. The blast radius vaporizes the target entirely. He throws 2 more daggers at the last standing squad member. The magnetic recall triggers, crushing the man in a fiery implosion. Kai walks slowly across the scorched ice toward the only survivor. His gauntlets drip with liquid fire. The Falcon squad is extinct. Huang Wei crawls backward, begging to know how a level 14 pulled this off. In a desperate panic, Wei swings his broken lightning blade one last time. Kai sidesteps the pathetic swing. He brings his hand down like an executioner's axe. As Kai checks his interface, slaughtering the squad pushed him to level 17. A massive red warning flashes across his vision. The system applies the bloodlust penalty for killing too many players in one zone. His location is now broadcast to every player on the island. He is a walking treasure chest. He realizes his double talent might multiply the experience drop if someone kills him. Meanwhile, at the massive Huang family forward operating base, Chief Commander Huang Tong sits on his throne. A scout just delivered the news of his son's death. He shatters the armrest. He vows to rip Kai apart the second the raid concludes. Kai regroups with Hu Yan and Ruan Yu on a snowy ridge, explaining they need to hide immediately. A massive war horn echoes across the frozen tundra. The frozen lake below them begins to spiderweb and split. A colossal scaly hand smashes through the surface. An endless army of murlocs floods out of the freezing water, armed for war. The water churns as heavier. Armored variants join the vanguard. The system identifies the true threat, the frozen murloc overlord. The king-level boss unhinges its jaw, unleashing a roar that shakes the mountains. Commander Huang Tong rides a mutated lion at the head of the human army. He orders the charge. 200,000 players surge forward to meet the monsters. The two massive forces collide on the ice. Kai decides to stay and watch. He needs to see exactly what an army of this caliber can do. A vanguard of knights slams their weapons into the overlord's leg. The strikes bounce harmlessly off the thick rubbery scales. The beast bends down and swallows a dozen armored players in a single bite. Yet the front line shatters, explorers breaking rank in sheer terror. A specialized team steps up to intercept the level 80 supers. 8 max level players coordinate a simultaneous strike on the boss's flank. They channel their auras, pooling their magic into one massive attack. The concentrated blast detonates against the overlord's chest. Ruan Yu cheers, assuming a hit that big must have dealt massive damage. Kai activates his phantom vision to check the boss's health bar. The scanner returns an error. The attack failed to penetrate the beast armor. The overlord retaliates with a casual tail sweep. The 8 supers are swatted out of the air like flies, crashing into the ice. Kai is stunned. The elite squad was wiped out in a single effortless motion. A streak of silver shoots past the falling bodies. Zhang Fang, a lancer, the strongest super in the Black Tortoise Guild. The other commanders watch in shock as he charges in alone. He refuses to retreat, locking his eyes on the colossal beast. He triggers his unique talent, Blessing of the Fallen. His strength multiplies for every dead ally as he drives his spear directly into the monster's hide. The tip pierces the impenetrable armor. Blood hits the ice. Kai smiles. The guy actually managed to break the defense. Commander Huang Tong watches the strike connect. As long as his strongest weapon holds the line, victory is guaranteed. Hu Yan screams her lungs out, cheering for her new captain. She is convinced the fight is already over. Kai stands over the fresh kill, looking like he hasn't even broken a sweat. But the victory lap gets cut short when the tactical scanner flashes red. The frontline commander loses his mind. The rear perimeter just got breached. Hundreds of elite sea murlocs have bypassed the main defensive line. The strategy was supposed to be simple. Keep the horde busy so Zhang Fang could focus on the king boss. The battlefield is divided by monster tiers into 5 distinct zones. Every squad has a specific target to maintain the balance. But this new flank attack ruins everything. If the backline collapses, 200,000 players will get surrounded and slaughtered. The tactical map shows the incoming horde is just 10 minutes away. A massive pillar of fire drops from the sky. The blast incinerates the monster monster on contact. Hu Yan panics. She demands they evacuate before the real army arrives. Kai turns his head, measuring the situation. He stares out over the frozen wasteland. He calculates the odds. He has zero love for the Huang family. Letting their army crumble sounds like a great idea. He smiles. But then he remembers Commander Wei's words. Punishing a corrupt guild isn't worth letting thousands of innocent people die. He plants his boots in the snow. Heat radiates from his skin. He ignites his arsonist gauntlets. He is taking the entire horde himself. His teammates look at him like he just lost his mind. 10 minutes later, the backline defenders are taking heavy casualties. They know the elite horde is about to wash over them. The captain refuses to run. If dying here means real-world ruin, the system penalty will lock them out of the game for a month. They draw their weapons, ready for a desperate final stand. The captain looks at his watch. The 10 minutes are up, but the horizon is empty. They realize not a single monster has breached the ridge. He assumes a massive squad of veteran explorers must be holding the choke point. Murlocs are getting tossed into the sky. It is not a squad. It is just Kai. He moves through the snow with lethal precision. He buries his fist into the beast's chest. He mocks the monsters. The last one to challenge him became Ash. The critical flame explosion detonates, vaporizing the remains. He checks his interface. Fighting them one by one takes too much time. Right on cue, Hu Yan sprints across the ice with a massive monster pack hot on her heels. Ruan Yu gets dragged by his collar, screaming for his life. Kai tells them to step aside. He has this covered. She warns him. There are too many elites in this wave. The monsters surge forward, sensing fresh meat. They unhinge their jaws, ready to tear him apart. Kai swings his blazing hands through the air. A wave of liquid fire crashes into the vanguard. He is built for area of effect destruction. The chain reaction triggers. The entire pack detonates in a blinding flash of plasma. The system updates his kill count. 257 elite sea murlocs wiped in a single strike. Ruin Yu's eyes almost pop out of his skull. The damage output is beyond broken. The blast is so massive it lights up the sky miles away at the main camp. Commander Huang's tactical scanner shows the rear threats vanishing. Then he assumes the military must have arrived early to save them. He doesn't care who did it. The flank is secure. He orders his men to focus all their attention back on the king boss. At the center of the war zone, Zhang Fang drives his energy lance straight into the monster's flesh. The boss staggers. Its health bar drops to 65%. The assault team cheers. They actually have a chance. But the king-level threat refuses to fall. It triggers its enrage phase. The spotters scream a warning. The attack speed just multiplied. A barrage of strikes rains down. Dodging is impossible. Zhang Fang crosses his arms, bracing against the relentless physical blows. His health bar plummets to 5%. Kai reaches the edge of the battlefield, watching the massacre. The king boss mocks the humans, thinking the fight is over. A surge of bright blue energy erupts from the crater. Zhang Fang activates his transcendent talent, Battle Spirit Armor. He screams a challenge, daring the beast to keep swinging. The monster's strikes bounce off the glowing barrier. He is now immune to physical damage. Every hit reflects a massive shockwave back into the monster's own body. Kai nods in approval. The guy has a solid build. Commander Huang grins. His chosen ace is delivering. The tactical readouts confirm the math. The boss's enrage mechanic is killing it faster than any weapon could. Victory seems guaranteed. The guild is about to claim the ultimate prize. A sudden burst of ominous energy cuts through the celebration. The king boss's eyes narrow into tight red dots. It shatters the ice beneath its own feet, changing tactics. The frozen lake splits wide open. Zhang Fang's defense drops. His health is critical. The crowd freezes in pure horror. Massive blue tentacles erupt from the freezing water. Armor-breaking tentacles. The spotters realize the boss held a hidden skill in reserve. Huang Tong's confident smile vanishes. Kai realizes the human army is about to break. The front line stalls. Without their strongest player to hold the aggro, the Murloc army washes over them. A tentacle slams directly into the vanguard shield wall. The metal splinters under the immense pressure. The defender is forced onto his knees. A spear drives straight through his armor. The healer cries. She has no mana left to save anyone. The entire operation is collapsing. Another massive tentacle drops from the sky. Zhang Fang looks up, paralyzed by the overwhelming gap in power. A monster stands over him, jaw unhinged for the execution. The guild's strongest weapon waits for the end. Two blazing projectiles slice the air. The monster's head explodes into fire and ash. The headless carcass hits the ice right in front of the fallen hero. The magnetic recall snaps the blades back into their owner's hands. Zhang Fang stares at the fresh corpse, unable to process his survival. Ruin Yu pops out of the smoke, laughing. He knows exactly who threw those blades. Kai walks onto the main battlefield. His aura bleeds into the frozen air. He tells his squad to sit back and watch. He is taking the boss. Zhang Fang assumes the kid has a death wish. Commander Huang feels a crushing pressure radiating from the newcomer. A cold sweat drops down the healer's face. Players across the entire zone pause their fights, turning toward the anomaly. The system penalty hits them like a physical weight. The bloodlust aura. Ruin Yu begs his captain to stop. Exposing a red name in a war zone is suicide. Kai sprints forward, his body glowing with the cursed red light. A veteran explorer draws his weapon, tempted by the massive bounty. Dozens of opportunistic fighters dive toward the supposed easy target. Kai locks eyes with the crowd. A shockwave of pure force repels the attackers. His teammates scramble to stay upright. Yet A single stray attack cuts a deep trench into the ice. Kai blurs past the flying bodies, unharmed. A veteran hits the ground, groaning in pain. Zhang Feng realizes this rookie just swatted away a dozen high-level players. He watches Kai march deeper into the nightmare zone. A level 20 walking through that chaos untouched defies all game logic. The scouts report that the anomaly is heading straight for the king boss. Commander Huang dismisses the threat. A rookie cannot kill a king. His lieutenant adjusts his glasses. The unease in his gut tells a different story. Kai leaves the squabbling commanders behind, cutting through the Murloc ranks. The memory of Commander Wei's request echoes in his mind. He promised to help humanity secure these phantom territories. The nation needs this land for survival. This is the exact setup he wanted. He commands his system, AI. Gambler's Heist engages. The skill allows him to steal a fraction of total attributes from anyone paying attention to him. By flaunting his bloodlust penalty, he forced the entire island to look his way. The system initiates the siphon. Against a single target, stealing 1,000th of a point is useless. But pulling from 200,000 high-level explorers simultaneously, the energy return is catastrophic. His stat screen shatters. 30,000 strength, 60,000 agility. His critical damage hits 20,000%. The lieutenant stares at his monitor, unable to process the numbers. Huang Tong's jaw drops. Kai's attributes just eclipse the server's strongest player by an astronomical margin. The guildmaster leaps out of his chair in pure panic. Kai drops directly into the warrior-level combat zone. A level 51 Sharktooth Murloc lunges to bite his head off. Huang assumes the beast will instantly kill the unarmored kid. The jaws clamp down. Kai doesn't even bother drawing his daggers. He drives a bare fist straight up through the monster's chin. The nearby squad drops their weapons. A rookie just obliterated a mid-tier boss with a basic punch. The massive carcass crashes backward into the snow. Kai doesn't slow down. He blurs past the falling corpse. A level 74 Commander Murloc unleashes a deafening scream. Huang sneers. And the commander-level roar requires specialized gear to resist. The sonic blast ripples across the ice. The spotters brace for Kai's inevitable death. Ruin Yu chugs a fresh barrel of cheap alcohol. His face burns red. Drunken Dream status active. He launches himself through the air like a guided meat missile. The massive monster stops roaring, confused by the flying child. He slams directly into the beast's giant mouth and plants a sloppy, drunk kiss right on its teeth. The Murloc's claws twitch in absolute revulsion. It swats the kid away in sheer disgust, forgetting about the roar attack. Ruan Yu hits the snow, bleeding but proud of his interspecies romance. The entire Huang Guild command structure stares in stunned silence. Kai stops and looks back at his idiot squad. He didn't ask them to follow him into the meat grinder. Hu Yan raises her hands to the sky, channeling her mana. Rain invocation. She warns Kai that Ruin Yu won't survive another hit. They need to clear the field fast. The Commander Murloc recovers from the assault and stomps toward the downed boy. Kai's eyes narrow. A genuine smile crosses his face. The sky above the mountains turns black with storm clouds. She tells the veterans to watch and learn. The frontline soldiers look up in confusion. It starts as rain, but the sub-zero atmosphere flash freezes the downpour into jagged, lethal hailstones. The ice chunks bombard the battlefield, battering the monsters and shattering their formations. Hu Yan cheers. She finally has an area of effect combat utility. She yells at Kai to use the distraction. She locked down the movement of the entire horde. Kai clenches his fists. The giant jagged crystals smash against the Murloc's scaly armor. She reminds him that they are a team. He hears her loud and clear. Ruin Yu crawls away as the Commander Murloc is pinned down by the frozen barrage. Kai admits he underestimated his squad. They aren't just baggage anymore. He ignites his gauntlets, flooding the blades with the stolen stats of an entire army. Blazing trails of light cut across the snow. A devastating shockwave of critical fire clears the path straight to the king boss. The real fight is about to begin. If you want part 2, subscribe to Manhwa Regress.